will now show you how to use the Box Creator template pack for Final Cut Pro and Motion. This template pack includes a box creator generator that allows you to create different kinds of boxes and cubes with either preset animations or customize your own animations. This template pack includes a transition kit with over 9 different transition types. You will also get an inside box generator and a lower third custom box text generator with optional drop zones and optional animation turns. So let us get started. The first thing I will show you how to use is the box generator. So to find it, just go to your generators browser, type in box generator, and then just drag and drop it to your timeline, or just double click. Once you have done that, you can close your generators browser and open up your inspector panel. This box generator comes with a lot of options, so I will just give you a quick overview of every part of this generator. To get started, you can turn off or on your build-in or build-out. So this is good if you don't want the animation at the beginning or the end to occur. Also, we can adjust the width and depth of the actual box. So if I add a little rotation here under global controls, I can see the depth. So let me turn it, and then if I bring up the depth, you can see it change. Bring this back to 0. We also have global controls, so we can change the size of the entire box. We can also change the position on the X and on the Y. And we can also change the Z if you open up the little triangle next to the position. So we can push this forward or back. We can also open up the triangle next to the rotation, and you can change the rotation of the box on the X, Y, and Z. And also, all these parameters can be keyframed. So if you want to do your own kind of animation, you can do that by just adding in keyframes and animating it any way that you want. Also, I included some presets. So when you open up the generator, they're set to none, so there's no preset set. Or you can choose from many of the presets I have created. So let me give you one example. So let's say for the rotation preset, I add a all-around spin, and for the position, I can do from far away. So now if I go to the beginning, you can see it starts from far away, and then it does an all-around spin, so it spins all the way around, shows you every side, and then it lands to the center. And where it lands is wherever you set the global controls. So right now it's set at 50 and everything's set right to the middle. Also, you can add a fade in if you want the beginning to fade in a little bit. You can do that as well. And also, I gave the option of adding ramps. So under the preset, if you go to ramps, you can use these ramp controls. So if I go to the beginning of this, let me turn down the opacity to 0 so we can see this. I can control where the animation starts, and then it will end up at your global control or the center. So let me say if I want the rotation to start like this and give it a little Y rotation, little Z rotation, I want to push it back. And then I want to push it to the top and then to the side. So now when I play back, it's going to do that full rotation from wherever I set it based on these ramp controls to wherever the default to wherever the default position is based on your global controls. And that's it. So not using keyframes, you can use these ramp controls. And to turn this on, all you need to do is under the position presets and the rotation presets, just set it to ramp. And you can also mix and match if you want to use a regular full turn rotation and just use the ramp control, you can do that as well. So all your ramp controls are underneath. And if you only use the presets, for example, if I use this preset, then the ramp controls will have no effect. So using these controls, you can get hundreds of different animations. So I try to keep this as simple as possible for you to use. Also for the middle, we have controls for the animation as well. I have some presets. So for example, I have a quick turn. Also have a turntable right and different speeds of turntables. I have a quick turn and then a double speed of the quick turn. And also have a turntable left and then an all-around spin. So for this example, let's use the turntable right. And as you can see, it will rotate forward based on the presets. So there is a turntables, which is just simply turns all the way around. Also, I also included ramp controls. So for example, if you wanted to animate forward, I can rotate it, like I said, in any direction you want. Position Y, position Z. So if you wanted to land in a different position, I have to turn the ramp control here on. And as you can see, the ramp control takes over. And also, as I had said before, you can also use the global controls with the keyframes. So all these are optional. You can use the animations any way that you want. If you want to save time, use the presets. Or if you want to get a really custom look, use the keyframe controls. All right, so let me set this to, let me do none for the position. And let me do a turntable right. Okay, so that is the animation now for the middle. And now for the end animation, how I want this to end. I'll go all the way to the end. And I can also use all the presets that I have. And I also have the ramp controls as well. So for this one, let me do a full rotate on the X, Y, and Z. And let me do a ramp control for the ramp at the end. So now this is going to turn fully. And I'm going to ramp it. I want it to come towards the camera. And I want it to go off to the right a little bit too. And there we go. So based on the middle, where the animation ends at the middle, it will do a full turn and go to where I ramped it to. And that's it. So like I said, these are a lot of controls here that gives you full control of your box creator. And now we will start adding some images to this. So let me go to the beginning here. I can turn on the text so I can see what side each one is. So this is side 1. And I can turn on, let's say, I can turn off the drop zone if I don't want the drop zones. And let's say I can turn on drop zones and all of them off and just have text alone. I can also just turn on the solid color if I just want the text and no solid color, or just a solid color alone. The choice is yours. So let me turn on the drop zone here. Let me add some images, and I'm going to add images to all the drop zones. So let me turn on here. Let me add this one. Go to the next one here. Go to the next one. Let me add this one. Beautiful images. And here. And say 5 and 6. All right. And if I want to change that text, all I have to do is click on the box for the text. Go to the text tab and then change it to whatever you want. And there you go. Okay, so let's go and customize some more. If I go into the generator, I go past the drop zones, and all the same controls I showed you for part 1 for the drop zone side 1 is also the same for all the other sides. Drop zone all the way to number 6. So each side is customizable to turn the text on or off, and also the color. And I can also reposition the text, the drop zone, any way which I want. By just dragging on the actual numbers here, I can scale and I can reposition it on the X and the Y. Okay, so let me see what all the controls. I can also turn on the reflection, so I can turn that on or off. If I have it on, I will bring it down to maybe 3%, make it nice and subtle. And just remember, when you do use reflections or any kind of blurs or depth of fields, it will slow down your render times. So be aware of that. So this is something you might want to add after you're done with the animation and you want to do one final render. You can turn on the reflection and then render away. Also, I can bring down the opacity of the box. So if I want the box to be some transparent. Also, I can bring the opacity on the border up or down. So if I want that border to be nice and thick, I can do that. And I can also change the color of the border to whatever color I want. Also, I can change the edge. So if I say I bring the border opacity down to 0, I can change the border, the edges to be soft, softer, softest, or super soft. And that just adds some softness to each side. So that's just for a different look, a different style. And if you do not like the images showing through here, if it's getting a little too crazy, you can also turn on the color on each one of these, and it adds a color behind each drop zone, just like that. Okay. Turn off that text for now. All right. And what else? Also, I can turn the background on or off. If you want to add your own video, graphic, or background underneath this cube, just drag it underneath the cube and you can use whatever you want. Also, I can turn the background on and choose something I have pre-created here, which I have a gradient, which gives you this gradiated edge to it. So I can change that. So let's say I wanted to make it like a little pink. I can do that, and then darker on the edges like that. Actually more of a red might be better. There you go, that looks cool. Or I can also make it a solid color, and then I'll just change that first color to whatever I want. Also, I have added some camera controls. Let me just change the softness here to normal. There you go, looks nice. I also added some camera control. So for example, if I bring the depth of field up, you start seeing that things that are further away from the camera start getting a little blurred. And also if the object moves away from the camera, let me just change this here to intro far away. See, things that are far away from the camera are blurred out, and the amount of blur depends on how much I increase the blur. And once it gets close to the camera, everything gets nice and sharp. So that is up to you if you want to use it. Just remember, this will slow down your render times. So things that are away get a little blurred, and this just gives a little more realism to your animation. And that's pretty much it, all the controls for the box creator. And using all these controls, you can get thousands of different looks to your box creations. I will now show you how to use the Box Creator Transition Kit. So the first thing to do is go into your transition browser. Then go to Motion Master Templates and then do a search for Box Creator Transition. And then just drag it to where you want the transition to happen. And then once it is there, you can stretch this open if you want it to be the transition to take longer, and which I will do for this demonstration so you can see the animation happen. Once you have done that, you can click on the transition, open up your inspector panel, and then we can add some customization. So the first thing we can do is we can, let's get started and add some images. Before that, I want to show you that we have the ability to turn on depth of field. So when things get away from the camera, things get blurred out. It gives you more of a realistic look, but this does slow down render times, be aware. Also, you can bring up the reflection or turn it down to 0 so it turns it off. We can turn on the text for the different sides if you want to add some text. So we can turn the text on or off if you want text on the sides that are not part of the transition. So on any of the opposite sides, not where it starts, not where it ends, you can add a text. So let's add some images. Let me add some videos to the drop zones. So let's click here and let's start adding some in. So let me add this one here, this one here, and number 4. Okay, let's go to apply clip. And now you can see there's a video on the other sides. Okay. Also, I have some animation presets. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different animations. And here are all the transitions back to back. All 9 transitions. Okay, this one is full rotate reverse, full rotate 2 times, full rotate 2 times reverse, full spin reverse, super spin 2, and super spin 3. Also, inside of the settings, you can also turn on the background and leave it off or on. And if you leave it off and none, you can add whatever background you want underneath or leave it transparent. It's up to you. If you turn it on, you can actually have a solid color. You can do a gradient color, and you can control the colors for the solid color and the gradients here. Or if you want, you can actually add a drop zone. So just select on drop zone and then add whatever background you want to add. And that's it. And that's all the settings there are for the box creator transition. I will now show you how to use the box creator lower third. To do this, all you need to do is go to your titles browser, go to Motion Master Templates, and then do a search for box creator. Once you have found it, just drag it and drop it on top of where you need it. And then you can close your titles browser. And now open up your inspector panel. Alright, once you're in here, you have the options to turn on the build in and build out if you don't want an animation to happen at the beginning. So if you've added some animation to this and you want to just turn it off quickly, you can just turn it off with the build in and the build out. Also, as far as some controls, I added 2 different masks to the drop zone area. You have a diagonal, which is this diagonal shape you have here, and also kind of a curve, circular, and also none, which just gives you just a square. So I'll leave this on diagonal. Also, what we can do is we can turn off that drop zone, or we can turn off the text for each side. So let me leave that on for this side. I'm going to choose some drop zone images. So I'm going to add some video to this. And I'm going to add the same video for all the sides. Like this. Just click on the actual drop zone well. And then click on the drop zone area. And then when you're done, click on apply clip. Now what we can do is we can adjust each side if we want to position it. We can do that. We can scale it. Position it, change the position and the scale, and you can do that for each side, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Also, I have some global controls, so if you want to change make this a little smaller, if you want to bring it to the side here, you can do that. You can bring it to the top, you can bring it up higher, or you can bring it down to the bottom. So for this example, I'm going to leave the size at 100, so we can see it, and I'm going to bring it over like this. Okay, and we can also change the rotation. If you want the rotation to be a little different, we can do that as well. These are the global controls, and all these are keyframeable. So if you want to do your own animation, you can just add some keyframes using the global controls. And I also created some presets under the in animation, the middle animation, and at the end. So for the in animation, we can do a fade at the beginning. Fade at the beginning here, you can see it fades in. You can have it start at and have it fade in whatever frames you want. Also, if you want the animation to come in from the top, I can do that. And I can also mix and match. So if I want to come from the top and the left, I can do that as well. So when it comes in, it kind of comes in from that direction. Also, if you want, let's say you don't want it to come from the left, I can bring up some fade in. So when it comes in, you'll see it just glide down. Also added some presets for the rotation. I can make it spin once. So when it comes in, it just does one little spin on the Y. Or I can have it spin twice. So it does 2 spins as it's coming in. Or I can do it 3, however many times you want it to spin in. Okay, you can do it with that. You can also do it on the X if you want. So when it comes in, it's spinning around. And you can have it spin more times. 1, 2, 3, or 4. And it will spin that many times as it comes in. So you can have it come in up. Have it spinning in a bunch of times, and then it lands. And you can combine these together if you want as well. So if you wanted to spin with like that. Also, we can scale it. So let me turn these off so you can see it. None, none, and none. I can also scale it on the X. So if I want the scale to come in, I can have it come in like that. Or on the Y, I can turn the X and the Y. Just do it on the Y alone. Or I can do both. So it gives you a proportional scale. Like that. Okay. Also, once it lands, I can have it, if I want, I can have this turn so it shows all the sides. So depending on how long this animation will depend on how much time each side is shown for. So let's say I wanted to turn the first time. I wanted to do a full turn. Or I can just do a single turn. So when it turns from 1 to 2, it just does one turn like that. Or if I want a full turn, I'll do a full 360. So just flip all the way around until it gets back to the other side and then it lands on title 2. And the same thing on the second turn. The second turn, I can do a full turn or turn. So when it turns, it goes to the 3. And then for the third turn, I can do it also. So it comes to the final side 4. And also these can be turned on. So if you use turned off or on, so if I don't want anything to happen at the second and the third, the title will always remain on the 2. And if I don't want any turns, just turn them all off. As far as the end, I also can fade out the end if I want as well, fade it out. I can also have it go in whatever direction I want. If I want it to go up, I can have it fly up and then dissolve out. I can also have it go to the left or the right, and I can also add the rotations just as I did before. And also the scales. And on the actual colors, I have the colors for the box. So if I want to, let's say I want to do white here. That's like a gray. I can choose whatever I want. Or I can make it white and make both sides equally white. So it's one solid box. To change the text on each side, just click once on the side that you want to change, and then change it. And that's pretty much it for the lower third. I will now show you how to use the inside version of the box generator. So what I will do is I'll go to box generator, do a search for box creator inside, and you just bring it to the timeline. So this template works exactly the same as the first one. The only difference is the camera is inside of the animation. So we do have a few less controls as the cube or the box is not going to spin towards the camera, but we can change the depth and the width of the inside of the cube. We can also change the global scale. We can also change the rotation This can all be keyframeable to each side. And I can also add my own controls using the presets. I have presets already created, and as I showed you in the first part on the box generator, you can also use the ramps, so you can ramp everything the way you need. I removed the positions because there is no position control for this, since the camera needs to stand right in the middle so we can see all the sides. So for example, let me show you the middle. Let's say I want to do a turntable left, and I use the ramp. It shows you all the sides. And then we can also add the drop zones and turn the text on or off, and also the solid color. So for side 3, I can turn the text on. I can turn the drop zone off if I just want a nice solid color. Or I can leave the text on with the side color. So the choice is yours. Or turn them all off. So for the background, I can turn it on or off. So for example, let's say if I have side 1 and I turned off the background, the drop zones, and the drop zone and the text, actually the drop zone and the color, and I left just the text, or if I use the logo with a transparency or an alpha channel, then you'll see a background come through. Or you can leave it off and add whatever background you want underneath. I also included some depth of field, so things that are far away will get blurred out. And I also added a fade in and fade out at the beginning and the end. So the cue will fade in and fade out, whichever way you want. So everything else as far as the drop zone controls are exactly the same as part 1 of this tutorial. I hope you enjoy this template pack as much as I enjoy creating it. If you have any questions or comments, please visit the website at motionmastertemplates.com. Thank you for your valuable time and have an amazing day. For more templates and freebies, please visit motionmastertemplates.com.